important things that, as far as the coach's clinic, there's one word that I'm going to explain that's the most important thing for the entire season. Discipline. From the first practice, okay, I have them all lined up. Now, if I have them line up on this end line, you won't be able to see me. So can you just go line up on that end line? Quickly. Go. 3, 2, 1. Close the line. Every toe. Straight line. Okay, so when you start practice, this is on the end line, and I can't have players just kind of standing like this and doing this stuff. I don't know if you're paying attention, and that's not acceptable to me. So you got to be toes are not on the line. Okay, toes have to be on the line. And then this is what I said. You have to set the tone at the beginning of every season. One time I know Monica, we had a team, they were late. They were like a couple minutes late. And I gave them a big old speech on the fact that they were late. If you're 5 minutes early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. So when I say early, which means on time, I really mean it. So you got to set the tone at the beginning. You can't do it later. If you try to instill discipline later, they're just going to think that you're mad at them. If you do it at the beginning, that's the way it is. It's the way we run practice, and you have a nice, much cleaner season. All right, so go ahead and line up on the end line quickly. 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, one person's got to be right on the corner. Okay? You're going to go, normally I do 3 laps around the gym. I'm going to be around the court, but I'm just going to have you, I'm going to shorten a lot of stuff that I do, okay? So normally they do 3, but I'm going to have you do 1. We're going to go around the court, and every corner, see me? Every corner, you must touch it with a foot. Okay? So as you go around the entire court, there are 4 corners. How many corners will you touch with a foot? 4. Okay? And I watch. If a player misses a corner, I'm going to have a conversation with you because I can't tell if you're focused and checked in for practice. Okay? Do any of you do a check-in for practice? Like into the inline clap and like do a cheer or anything like that? No? Okay, I have them do a check-in. So when you come to practice, there's a lot of stuff that's going on outside in life. Everything's got to be shut down and you got to focus. Let me just make sure this is. So I need to make sure that the players are focused and paying attention. So I'm going to have you do a check-in, okay? So the check-in is the person on the corner here is the leader, and you're going to jump in, clap, and then just say, just go, which is what's on the back of the shirt, okay? Can you practice that really quick? Yeah, so that's what it looks like, okay? And you gotta lead them and make them do it all in unison. Here we go. Okay, and then go around and every corner. You gotta touch every corner. No, this is not good enough. You already missed the first corner. 4 corners you gotta touch. Got it? Okay, let's do the check-in again. There we go. Okay, go around. Touch every corner. Tournament day, when we're there at 7:20 in the morning for 8 a.m. play. Okay, so I'm going to have you create 4 lines. Okay, 4 lines, like there's 4 lines handing out different flavors of ice cream, okay? So there's chocolate, strawberry, vanilla, and what's another flavor of ice cream?
Mint chip.
Mint chip? Okay,
my favorite.
All right, so now, can you speak down a little bit more? Okay, so for dynamic warm-up, and very particular, okay? So when you say go, you need to keep your line straight. So when you drop to the net, the lines side by side have to be straight, got it? Volleyball is not a sport where you can just kind of run out all on your own. You have to pay attention side to side to make sure your line is straight. And that's my expectation, okay? If it's jagged, I make you do it again. All right? So then when you drop to the net, and you touch the net with your left hand. Which hand do you touch with? Left. And then you're going to turn to your right. Which way do you turn? Right. Okay? So So let's go ahead, and when the line in front of you is about halfway to the court, about where the ball card is, the line behind then goes. But make sure the lines are straight. Okay, go. Keep the lines. Keep the lines. Keep the lines. Keep the lines. Okay? But just once, just once. Just once. Okay, I'm going to ask you to be really, really focused. Okay, now normally this just goes. So with dynamic warm-up, my captains run the first part of my practices. So the first 15 minutes, captains are running the entire thing. It's a routine, and they have to keep it going at a high rate of energy. Okay? Now, normally in practice, when you're coming back in, let's say I'm part of the last group coming in on a jog. By the time I get to here, this next line is already ready to go for the next thing. Okay, so go ahead and do high skips. Just do really big high skips. Go. Okay, hold up. Come back. So at the beginning of the season, I'm doing a lot of teaching of how to train. Okay? I'm not going to just let them go. They did not do it properly. So I'm going to stop them and say, when the line in front of you is about halfway, like to this ball cart, what does the next line do? Go. Got it? Okay, so you're going to do high skips. Make it happen. Okay, go. Keep the line straight. Keep the line straight. Okay, this is pretty good that the lines have to be straighter. Got it? You have to self-manage. So by the time the last ones are coming in on skipping, the next one is going, and it might be like butt kickers. Okay? Go, butt kickers. So if they're doing butt kickers like this, and then it's about to end, the next one is going to be a jog. Okay, ready? They're done, you go. Jog. Keep the line straight. Keep the line straight. Keep the line straight. Keep the line straight. Okay, the next one is going to be facing that way. Side shuffle. Go, 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 go. No, start again. Okay, so I saw some incorrect, not following instructions. So I saw people touching the net with their right hand. Which hand do you touch with? Left. Which way do you turn? Right. Do it again. Go, go, go. Okay, butt kickers are next. So just say butt kickers are next. And they're done, you better go, 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 go. Jog. By the time you cross the line, you better go. Go, 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 go. Okay, now players, you can address and chill out for a second. So in other words, it needs to keep going. Okay? We try to minimize the downtime. If the line ends like this, a lot of times teams will just be standing there, oh, what's next? No, the captain has to have the next one ready to go so that by the time the last one crosses the line, the next one go. So it's go, 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 right? So now, let's have ball partners. So let's have two people, okay? Ball, partner, two people, one ball, okay? Ball and partner, side to side. So one person on the sideline here, you're the partner on the other sideline with one ball. Two players, one ball. You use this side to end. Go. 5. 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go! Let's go! Pick somebody. You have some numbers? Cool. Okay. So can you just take the double again, like 3 more carries on this half of the court on this side of the net. Okay, another thing that I have high expectations for is getting ready for the next drill quickly. Okay, a lot of times if I don't teach them this at the beginning, they're like, oh, who's going to be my partner today? Well, do you want to be my partner? And then you're wasting 2 minutes. Okay, so if you're standing around, you're not training. Okay, so you got to go, go, go. Now, I'm going to give you 5 seconds. You're going to do partner and reset it. 5. New partner, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so now you're going to throw the ball. Throw the ball to your partner with your dominant hand or your hitting hand. Okay, throw it across, you're going to yell ball, and then the person receiving the ball is going to yell mine and catch, okay? Go. Back and forth, back and forth. Differently, but this is one of my things, okay? I do not like or mine, that kind of stuff. I can't understand what you're saying. So I teach mine, ball, mine, two, putt, whatever the audible is, pipe, okay, big, just once, okay? Okay, go. Ball. They do two of each thing, and there's a whole series of ball and partner stuff that you can do. I won't get into it in this clinic, but I have the captains run it. They do two of each thing, then they move on to the next one, to the next one, and the next one. It is a set list of specific things that they do in that order every practice. Okay, so there's no thinking like, oh, what are we going to do next? Because the more you do that, the less you're training when you're standing around. Okay? And also, it has to be loud. Okay, if it's not loud, we will have a conversation. It's got to sound like if you're walking by, there's an amazing practice going on. Okay? All right, next. The next one you're going to do is you're going to get into groups of, we're going to create 3 groups. We have 14. Okay, we can do that. Okay, we're going to have a group here, a group here, and a group here, okay? It's going to be uneven in one group, but that's okay. Each group has a ball, okay? And we can set that up. 5, 4, 1. Okay, so now, let's have 2 people up here at the net. Okay, 2 people at the net, and let's leave the ball over there. Okay, I'm going to move the camera so you can see what's going on. I really appreciate you moving fast. Okay, so let's get one more person up here. Leave the ball facing the net. And we get 2 people here without a ball. Okay, so this is the next thing that we always do in practice, which is shuttles. Okay, so now you're going to follow the ball. Once you pass here, you're going to follow the ball to the right, and you go here, you're in this line. If you're in this line, you're going to set the ball. Okay, and once you set the ball, you're going to follow that ball and go to the end of this line. You're going to shuttle and rotate through. Okay, can you get that going? Moving, but now here's the thing with shuttles. This is an orchestrated, controlled scenario. So, first of all, setting. We set every practice. There's a big chunk of the time where everybody on my team sets every practice because I feel like we're losing setters. There are fewer players that can actually set. So we practice setting. Everybody does. Okay, now, the next thing is your goal is to try to keep this past contact point right about lined up with that ball card. Okay? So if you set it way out here, that's not correct. Your goal is to set it to pass and ball right here. Okay? And then the tempo of the ball has to be 2 seconds in the air. So once you pass, 1001, 1002 is when the hands should be setting. Set 1001, 1002 should be the pass. Got it? Okay, then you have to go. aiming for that? Okay, are they going too high or too low? Okay, hold the ball. So this is my way of making sure that everything we do, they can measure it. They know whether they're doing it properly or not, whether they're following instructions or not. So as much as possible, I'm thinking of different ways, right? You have to think, right? So you can be thinking about it in your head and counting it out in your head after you set, right? One, this is if you two, oh yeah, that's pretty good, right? Or if you pass, so one, and then the person's touching it, you gotta tell yourself that pass is not high enough, it was not the right tempo, okay? So for my teams, we have a set tempo that we try to pass on serve receive, so the setter will consistently be able to set the ball at about the same time, okay? And then the setters, of course, have to set a certain tempo, if that makes sense. So this is the shuttle passing, okay? We're gonna do just one really quick here. Go ahead, this is called variations, okay? So now, on this side, up at the net, you're gonna always be setting one touch. The ones over here now, you're going to self-pass straight up, and then you're gonna set it back. Okay, so 2 touches on this side, okay? Go. Point of contact is getting a little bit sloppy for me, okay? There's like one there, this line's moving back. You have to pay better attention and making sure the ball is you're initiating lines up your partner right here, passing right here at the ball part. Got it? You need more discipline and focus, okay? Go. Okay, so that is the shuttle passing. Now there's a lot of different variations, and I won't get into them here, but you can have them go self-pass, back step. Okay, you can have them go self-pass, and then turn sideways and pass. Okay, there's a lot, just use your creativity. Okay, even on that season that goes 16s and 12s, even on my 12 team, I had never taught them how to backstep. All of a sudden, they just said, go ahead and do it. Just self-pass and backstep. And they just started doing it. They go, oh my God, backstep. Fine, go. Self-pass. It's got to be 2 tempo. 2 tempo. 1, that's too low. It's got to be 2 seconds in the air. 2 seconds in the air. Okay, so let's go ahead and get ball. Guard 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then right over here. Let's go. Okay, so now let's huddle over here. Huddle up. Okay, let's do a water break. Cheer. What do you mean you don't do a water break? I always make them do a cheer for a water break. Water! So especially at the beginning of the season, you may have players that don't all know each other. So I start right away. Even for water breaks, there's a cheer, and it's a simple water and back. Also, go! Okay, quickly. One person up here. Standing right here. Right here. Shoulder. And when we get here, turn. Now on the 10-foot line. 10-foot line. 10-foot line. Next. Quickly. Says where to go, you go quickly.
And then we need one ball for each court.
Okay, so this is a warm-up. A lot of players are like, can we play a game? Can we play sixes? When do we get to play? Got tired of hearing that, so we actually play a game right at the beginning of practice, right after the laps, dynamic warm-up, and the shuttles. We play a game. So this is short court. So the court is actually here inside the 10-foot line, okay? So your end line is the 10-foot line. The court, you can use mixed with antennas or kids that you have, or you can use pool from the dollar store. And so we just do this, create court. Here's the court, and here's another court, okay? Now it's called North Pole, South Pole. So you pick one antenna and say this is North Pole, okay? And that antenna on the other side is the South Pole. Does anybody know which pole has the penguins? Which pole? North Pole or South Pole has penguins? South Pole. Which pole has Santa? North Pole. Okay, so Santa's hanging out over here. Penguins are like eating and pooping over there. Okay, got it? All right. So one of the things is, especially at the beginning of the season, I'm pretty hard on them to like get the discipline part. So I like to kind of just throw in little Monica's my assistant coach a long time. I just call them like dumb jokes that nobody laughs at except maybe Monica because she's heard them a million times. So I just kind of sprinkle in a little bit of those at the beginning so that they know that I'm not like some, mad evil guy and all I'm going to do is yell. It's kind of the thing that I like to do. Okay, so now, quickly. Okay, so now, it's round 4, and we usually go for 3-minute games. Okay, I timed it. And the serve is a set serve. So the 9-10-foot line here is to set it over. Really bad serve. Okay, go ahead and set serve. Okay, that's a good serve. All right? So we're going to play just like okay, you got to put it inside. They get to play right away at the beginning of practice, and we get that out of the way. So we go 3 minutes. There's no jumping and crushing. Okay, otherwise we get some bloody noses. Okay, or black eyes. Tips and roll shots are good. Okay. Now let's say the time just went off 3 minutes. Then the winner goes 1 court up towards the North Pole, and the loser of the game goes 1 court towards the Penguins. So let's say you won, and you won. Okay? Shift. Go. Okay, sometimes you have to move balls and stuff. Okay, so they just shift. So now I've already eliminated the words like, well, I just used you won, just so you know. But I try to eliminate in my practices like, where are the winners, where are the losers? So we just say, okay, just make your shift. And after I introduce this girl at the very beginning, then I never have to talk about winners and losers. I just say 3 minutes, shift, and they go towards North Pole or South Pole. Okay, go ahead and play one more. So this is a really great way. They're not fully warm, they're not jumping and crushing, but they're playing. Especially the younger players, this is good because they're learning what it means to compete already. Beginning of a okay, so let's just say everybody on this side of the game. save some time at the end. Anybody have any questions? Yes.
Hi, Chijo.
How are you doing?
Hi. So nice to meet you. I'm a big fan.
I know, we've been talking.
I love this game, but my question is, like, if the girls are of different, like, skill level, do I already at the beginning, like, put, like, some girls in one group, or you just mix them all up?
Nope, I just mix it up.
Okay.
I've done this with 5th, 6th graders who are mostly new to volleyball, okay, and they've never been on a club team. I just count 6s, okay, well, they just play. Most of the time, I just let them do it. I really don't hold back a whole lot of stuff, because over 30 whatever years, I just realized they can do it. They can do it. I always assume that they can do it, and they just do it. And yeah, when you first start out with younger kids, and this can look a little bit crazy, okay? Because the balls can go over there, it might come flying over your head. But just let them play. Doesn't matter, I just let them play. It may look really ugly, but it will get cleaner and cleaner as you go, right? Okay, next. Let's just show like how fast I want to get back into the court. So do a quick cheer for water and pour it out. Let's go.
Water on 3. 1, 2, 3, 1.
Coming back from water break, there's no walking. Now, if you ever do this, there's something magical that happens. For whatever reason, people want to always be that first one in that spot. And then they go, oh, I want to get that spot on second, third, fourth. And then they're over here. And then I just say stuff like, oh, good job, you're the first one back. You're number 3, and you're number 2, and you're number 3. This is the top 3. Cool, good job. I say stuff like that. And then the ones over here are like, wait, what? That was a race? And then the next time, like, one of the ones over here, like, eat them out over there. And sometimes they almost look like they're going to tackle each other. I never have to say hurry up after water breaks, ever. So that's kind of how I run that. Okay, next, we're going to do a drill that says, let's see on the back of your shirt. Just go, okay? So this drill is called Just Go. It's a little crazy. I gotta make sure I put it somewhere where it's not gonna get hit. Okay, Monica, can we get the number or order?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, so 1 down first.
I get questions a lot. One of my most common questions is, how do I get my players to move to the ball? They're not going. So you just have to create drills where they have to move. Okay, so Monica's my longtime assistant coach, and normally she runs the stuff, and she runs it pretty hard and crazy. Let me just run it a little bit so you can see me running it. So now, she explained it, touch it 10 times, 10 balls, okay? No matter where it goes, got it? Okay, hold on. I have a system. You're my feeder. I need a feeder. And someone over here is going to the ball part to feed the feeder, okay? Because the balls have to go into my hand really lightning fast, and it has to go into the left hand, okay? I also have a thing, can you see it right here for me? Okay, a lot of players will come up with the ball and they'll do this. Again, if you can't see what I'm doing, just move. So hold your left hand out. Hold your left hand out. Like you're a coach, okay? Hold your left hand out. A lot of players will do this. Or like this. Drives me crazy, okay? I train my feeders, and I say, like this, got it? This is your sole job in life right now. Make sure that ball is right there in your hand, your 2 hands, ready to feed me fast? Got it? So that's kind of as fast as I go. Sometimes I go a little faster. Now, this drill has a terminator effect. You have to touch 10. If I chuck the ball over there and you go like this, stop, wow. You got 10. 10 burpees, 10 push-ups, 10 crunches. And you don't get to finish the drill. Got it? So you may not touch every ball, but you better just go, okay? Anywhere. Okay? It doesn't matter if it's over there, or it's in the bathroom. You go get it. Got it? Get the ball. Go. Come on, 3, 2, 1, go. You need to sprint and get every single ball off the court, okay? So this drill may seem like it only has 2 players in the drill, but the rest of your team are going to be out of breath because every ball should be clear, okay? Come on. Okay, let's take this down. 3, 2, 1, go, run. Ball. Where's the next ball? Where's the next ball? Go, where's it? Where is it? Go, 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 go. Okay, done. Next group, let's go. 3, 2, 1. Come on, let's go. Next group, let's go. 2. Come on. There's 4. Let's go. Big ball off the board. Big ball off the board. But that's the speed at which we run this drill, okay? And I don't wait for the next group. You have to pay attention and go, what number are you? 6s. Okay, here's another time. If I ask a question, you don't remember your number, that's not good. You're not getting playing time, okay? So you're 6 and you're 7. Okay, so if you're 7, you gotta know your 6s, and when they get their 10, you better be on. Because we don't wait. They're like, oh, okay, come on, get ready. No, the ball just goes. And if the ball goes up and you're kind of walking in, that's terminated. You gotta cancel. Okay? Right, next level. That was level 1, so level 2 is?
Okay, now we need 3 people on.
Yep.
So, doesn't matter the groups anymore, we just need 3 people on.
Okay, so now the next level, so this is level 2. Level 2 is 3 people are on. You have to get 10 balls over the net to my side. Okay, any ball. Work together. Work together. No, okay, sorry. You work together, you have to get 3 touches. Okay, go.
Go!
3, 2, 1. Okay, so level 3 is you're going to get 5 over the net, but the last touch must be an overhead motion, like a hit, a standing down ball. You can jump and crush, you can tip it if it's a tight ball, but it has to be overhead. Got it? So that's level 3. So I get the question a lot, like, how do you get your players to move? This is how I get my players to move. They must move, or they know they're proud of the drill, they don't even get the opportunity, they gotta do intense. And yes, I do this down in 5th grade. And it can get pretty crazy. Okay? So you can adjust it, you can say touch 5 balls. Actually, touching the 10 balls I do for any age. The second level, any 10 balls over, you can reduce that to 5. And then the third one, I've gone as low as maybe get like 2 or 3 on level 3. Really have to hit it. So you can adjust it, but the speed is like this. I mean, I don't change the speed of the drill itself. I just change the goal. So whether I'm coaching my 12s or 16s or anything in between, the speed of the drill stays the same, if that makes sense. Because for me, hustle is hustle. Okay, let's do a quick water break. Quickly, let's go.
1, 2, 3, 1.
Okay, let's go to the movie theater. Okay, so now, again, movie theater seats. This is the front row of the movie theater. The one where it's like this on the screen. And I get 4 people in this front row on the pencil part. So quickly, second row right here. Third row is right here. And then the fourth row is right here.
Spread out.
Spread out from side to side. So remember, it's a movie theater, so there might be some odd numbers, but just make sure the lines are straight, okay? For seats in movie theaters are always straight across and one behind the other, okay? Okay, now this movie theater has a little extra playroom, so I'm going to have you kind of scoot back and stretch out for those back. Okay? So this, wouldn't it be cool if you had a movie theater that had this much legroom? You can just lie down and you can have a jump like popcorn. Good one. Small. Giant, you can get like 2 giant ones right there. Okay? So this is how I do a lot of footwork demos. So I teach them the movie theater seating, so I don't have to say it anymore. Okay, movie theaters, all I have to say, you know the front row is a 10-foot line, and whatever, however many kids you have on your team, it could be 3 across or 4 across, okay? And they know, and it just takes like 2 seconds to get them lined up. All right, so now, footwork. We're gonna work on passing. Okay, so now, if the opponent over there is up to serve, what do you look like? Okay, so your feet are probably a little bit wider than your shoulders, and your kind of hands are out. Now, put your feet, use your feet, put them even like this. So, your feet are nice and even. I'm going to move this. While I move this, does anybody have any questions? All right. sharing and asking the stuff in front of the crowd. The more you ask, the more I can answer. Okay, so now the feet are even. Now imagine that you're passing an imaginary ball. Just go through the, don't move your feet, your feet are glued to the floor, and now just use your arms and act like you're passing the ball. Go through the whole motion like you're trying to pass. Okay, does it feel a little weird? Kind of fall over. Okay, now put your left foot, so your feet up to your left foot, just a little bit in front of your right. Okay, now pass an imaginary ball. Keep passing over and over and over and over and over and over. Which way does your body kind of want to lean? That way? Okay. Now put your right foot in front. Now pass an imaginary ball over and over and over and over and over. Which way does your body kind of naturally want to lean? Left or right? Right. Okay, because you're going to lean into that lead foot and lean that direction, okay? So now, center's usually up here in the right front, okay? So if the center's here, and the server is serving the ball at our team here, when the serve goes anywhere from here all the way over to the sideline, you're passing to your left or to your right to get it to your center. Great. So think about it. Any ball that is served at your team from here all the way over there, you're going to be passing to the right. So the first thing I teach is how to pass to the right. Because in most of volleyball, most of the time on serve receive, you're passing to the right. This little sliver of space right here, your center might be to your left. So I do teach how to pass left, okay? But first is right foot in front. So the rule that I have for serve receive is you face your server. So let's say the server is on the right side, okay? The server is serving from the right side. Face the server is what I teach. Because the ball, okay, so I feel, okay, go ahead and look like you're passing. Everybody looks like they're passing. I feel that it is way, way easier to pass a ball that's coming straight at you versus coming from the side or the other side. So I teach my passers to always just turn everything. Feet, knees, hips, shoulders, eyeballs, hair. Don't laugh. You can laugh. It's okay. People are not laughing. Are you okay? What is your name? David. You got my joke. Can we get her a prize later? Yeah, okay. So I have them face the server so that they can pass the ball coming right straight at them. Now, how do you get the ball? Go to the right. Most of the time, it's going to go to the right. I teach right foot in front. So on serve receive, as soon as that referee blows the whistle, I'm looking on my court, and my players over here are 2/3 of the court, so have the right foot already in front because you're going to pass to your right. And then the second thing is drop your right shoulder. So if I'm over here, just a little bit, I'm waiting like this, my right shoulder down and my right foot in front. Okay, I try to teach my players, anticipate what's going to happen, use as much information that you have as possible, prepare your body as much as you can, so that by the time you get the ball, it's all set up. Okay? It's like if you're having a party, and you know that you have 12 people coming over, you can prepare 12 plates. Okay, so you know the ball is coming here, you know you're going to pass right, so right foot in front and right shoulder down. Everybody imagine that. Yeah, just like that. Okay, so then, let's see, I'm going to have to turn. Can I have a demo player stand right here and turn towards the coaches? Who wants to give them up? Cool. Can you just turn towards them? What's your name? what I mean? Thanks for helping. Okay, so go ahead and look like you're passing. Okay, so let's just imagine your setter's over there. Okay, so your right foot's in front and your right shoulder's a little bit down. So what I teach is as much as possible. Now sometimes the serve comes really fast and it's not ideal. But when we practice, okay, we try to get the ball somewhere here in front. Okay, and then you're going to swing, okay, towards setter and then stop right here. I teach them to try to stop their swing on their right knee pad. If they swing past like this, okay, the risk is that they're going to pass behind the setter. And then you can't run your offense. So what I teach is contact here, somewhere here, and swing, and then stop. Stop on the right knee pad is what I teach. As much as possible. Now it's not going to always happen, but that's what we teach. Okay? Right, so go ahead and turn around. Okay, so everybody just pass the ball here. Okay, any questions so far? I realize that there are people that teach a lot of different things and I don't know everything. This is what I teach. Okay, now, let's imagine that you're passing on the right side, all of you. You're over here somewhere. Okay, you're passing to your left. Left foot in front, and then drop your left shoulder. So let's say you have a tri-line or a serve receive pattern where you've got passes over here. I teach these passes over here as soon as that whistle blows. The left foot already in front, left shoulder down. Every ball they take all anywhere in here, I want them to pass it in front of the center. I don't want to go behind, I don't want to pass here. I teach, especially if you're here. I don't want you to go for a perfect pass. I want you to shuffle it and send it this way, in front, okay? Because a lot of teams try to serve here. This is my favorite spot to serve because it's hard to get in front of the setter. So the ball, we don't want the ball going behind. So go ahead and everybody imagine passing to the left, okay? And if they drop their left shoulder too much or swing too much, the ball goes out here. So if you're a setter, you know, would you rather do this kind of thing or just go forward and set the ball, right? If it's not perfect. So, okay, so now,
Okay, I need 7 of you guys. One person in the line up here, and then the rest behind. The rest of
okay, again, moving the camera, so if you have a question, go for it.
I keep asking questions, Coach. Sorry. They teach zones in my club. What do you feel about like zones?
Or like what part of the courts you cover?
Yeah, like you tell the girls to have zones.
Yeah,
Like,
I teach my players that they're responsible for an area.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think we have time to cover that right now.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I'll cover it a little bit more in the drill over there. So again, we're going to run this drill. Players are over here. If you can't see, you need to move because you're not going to be able to see what's going to happen right here. Okay? If you want to go over there and see the side, I just
Yeah, so then like,
okay, let's reverse the whole thing.
okay, so you guys go on that side.
Hey, any more questions? Just ask away. For the passing, I do teach covering the seams. So if there's 2 players and a ball goes between them, yeah, you're calling out, you know, before the server serves, who's got the short seam, things like I got your short, I got your deep, and stuff like that. Is that what you're asking, maybe? Okay, so I'm going to have you do a little bit. Could you do me a favor and grab that ball? Against the wall. So I like to have spots, even in any drill. So if there's tape or something make sure that the players always know that this is the spot that we're going to pick. Okay, the next person is going to pick. Okay, you can go side to side. Okay, let's go side to side. So now, this is a passing drill that we do every practice, and there are lots of different directions they can move to pass, but I'm going to just demo having them pass the ball to their left and passing the ball to their right. Okay? Again, if you can't see, like behind Monica, I'm going to make you move so you can see. Okay, so everybody right where you are, okay? Go ahead and just look like you're passing the ball. Normally I'd be doing this in the movie theater setting. I just forgot, sorry. Okay, so now, let's say the ball is being served at you and it's going to your left. Okay, so the footwork that seems pretty simple. It's a step to the left, and then shuffle. Okay, so when you land, I want you to land with your right foot in front. Okay, so go ahead and do that again. Okay, so I'm going to go step shuffle, and my right foot is just a little bit in front of the left. Okay, and then the ball's going to come. I'm going to go step shuffle. Okay, so you're just going to toss the ball about right here. You're going to pass, and you're going to go to the ankle line. Okay, but the next person in line, once you clear out in front of you, must be on the spot. Got it? So I want to show you how fast we run. Okay, can you get a feeder and a feeder? Quickly. So usually the way that run this is half the team at a time. So half the team is in the drill and half the team is the shaggers, feeders. So when you go to your left, go step shuffle. And then you're going to peel out and go in line this way. Got it? Okay. Go. Next up. Okay, hold on. Okay, so this is not good enough for you because the next person is standing like this. You should be ready to go, and the next one's got to be in faster. Okay? So this is the way we do it. It's all about reps. The more times you practice, the sooner you get better. And if you're standing around and the players are hanging out over here, you're not going quickly enough, they're going to get past the number of reps. Okay? You guys go faster. Faster. Going to go 2 times to the left. When that person comes back for the 3rd time and is in front of the line, that player will now go like this, point to the right. That's the cue to the coach to now throw this direction to my right, and they're going to go 2 times. Okay? Once you go twice, and you've done 4 total touches, it's going to peel out of the line. When this line becomes empty, the rest of you need to see that and pay attention and quickly fill the line. So the coaches are not like, okay, let's switch groups. Okay, so let's just do 1 more each and you're going to peel out the line. Okay? To the right, to the right. Point. You got to gradually take over assess how quickly we need you to be moving. Okay? Now the last thing that the players are going to go against that sideline over there, just so the coaches can see. So the last thing I'll say about passing is I try to keep my players. Oh, right by there. Okay, I try to teach my players to call the ball when they know it's theirs. Okay, so if the coach is right here, whose ball is it? Yours. So the ball, as soon as it leaves, mine! Got it? Before it crosses the net. Got it? And that's another cue that we practice. Try to call the ball before the ball crosses the net. Okay? Alright, so let's do a quick water break. Okay, I'll take any questions again. Although I think I understand.
How often do you get a water break? Like in between things or?
Are you waiting? You're waiting. Now wait. Okay, I'm getting a lot more than usual because I need to move the camera. And I needed water. It depends on whether your place has AC or not. Is it summer or not? Is it 80 degrees or 90 degrees or 50 degrees? Okay, but the other thing that I have in practice is they can get water anytime they want. They can be in the middle of a drill. My players know if they feel parched or like dry or whatever, just go. Nobody ever has to ask permission to get any water at any time and then just come running right back in. Even if we're playing sixes or whatever, you just go get water. So I don't limit the water intake at all. Sometimes I'll just ask, hey, can we just do the next drill? We're getting water. And they're like, no, let's go. Or they might go, oh, what is it? And I'll say it's hitting. Oh yeah, no water, let's go. Because they want to hit. So that's kind of how I okay, so now we're going to talk about serving. Okay. Serving. If you're serving, look at the ball. One of the round ones. Okay, so if you're serving the ball, do you want the ball that you are going to serve to be in a different place every single time? Or would you prefer that the ball be pretty much in the same spot every time? Yeah. So we spend a lot of time on toss ball. We don't even hit the ball. I make my players practice toss over and over and over and over. So you're going to have 5 seconds. You're going to make a partner and a ball. And just spread out on this court. Go. 5. 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, stand about 4 feet apart from each other, 4 or 5 feet away from each other, and face each other. Wow, that's a big 5 feet. That's like Bigfoot. Everybody's, well, actually, well, that's good. So if you're in this clinic, we want to give you this recording. We want to kind of make sure you can see stuff. Okay. So do we have any right-handed people here? Cool. Do we have any left-handed people here? Okay, all right. Okay, so raise your right hand. Now raise it as high as you can. Now go up on your tiptoes. Okay, look at the tip of your fingers. See that height? Remember that height? That is my default starting point for teaching my players how high to toss the ball. This is for a float serve. This is not like top spin jump serve or anything like that. It's a regular old float serve, okay? So for your height today, that's the height of your toss. Now tomorrow, if you wake up and you're 3 feet taller, then it's 3 feet higher. okay? But you can always measure it, especially the younger age levels, okay? This is, again, I always want to have my players have as many tools to figure out how to do things on their own, whether something that they passed was high enough or low enough, that they set it high enough or low enough, did they toss the ball for the serve high enough or low enough. I don't want them asking me all the time. Well, Monica, there's only two of us, okay? So go ahead and hold, actually, you know what? Oh, this is fine. If you have a ball, go ahead and look like you're gonna serve. Now don't actually hit it because we might have some injuries, okay? All right, so all you're gonna do is you're gonna toss the ball. Now, what's your name? Maya. So go ahead and raise your right hand again. Okay, go up on your 10 toes. So I would say good starting point might be a toss that's about this high, okay? So what you're gonna do is you're going to, like before you serve, what you look like? You put a foot in front, yep, good. All right, now your job without the ball as a partner, you're the judge. You're going to give her a thumbs up if she tosses the ball right about this high. Okay? Yeah. That was too high. Okay, here's the deal. When I have my team practice this, don't slack off as a judge. You're like, I'm just going to give her a thumbs up. No, everybody understand that if you don't get it, they're not going to give you a thumbs up. Is that okay? Don't take it personally, okay? Because if you toss it weird every time, and it's not the same, and it's now, 15 all in the third set, tie, or let's make it better, 19 all in the third set, and your teammate back there to serve, and it's the one that you kind of didn't judge very well and let her do different tosses in practice. What if she serves it out? Your job is to make your teammates better. So show me the right hand up here. Okay, right here. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so you're going to do, now there's different ways you can do this. If it's younger, more beginner, then I say, okay, be the judge. When you get 5 thumbs ups, then you switch jobs. Okay? If it's older, okay, and more experienced, like this group, I would say you need to get 3 thumbs ups in a row, then you can switch jobs. Okay, let's try that. Go. Oh, there we go. Okay, this, did you see it? Izzy, can you show them what we just did? You went over and go, okay, what's the height? That is a good teammate, okay? Because now she's going to be a good judge. This is what I look for. Okay, go. You got to get 3 in a row. Oh, yes. See now how they're all doing it? Okay, so one of the things, I'm just trying to teach you like stuff that I do that really helps me. When I see somebody do something that I want happening, I point it out. And I go, that's awesome. Now, this is a clinic, so I explain to you what I was doing. But usually I'll just go up and say, yeah, that's really awesome, and I make a big deal out of it, and then they'll hear me and see it, and then they start doing it. So I try to avoid situations where I have to go around going, hey, remember you got to be a good judge. Remember you got to remember what the height is. If I see somebody doing something that's going to help, I point it out, so then everybody just does it. Okay, so now next. Okay, can I get, let's see, can I get 2 people? Can I get 2 people to demo like right here and here? 1 person right there, 1 person right there. So now, go ahead and face the coaches. I didn't tell you we're going to do that. Okay, so now the next thing, after the height of the ball, is how far away does the ball have to be when you toss it. in relation to your face, okay? So if you're gonna do a good, strong, deep float serve that's moving around like this, you gotta toss the ball out in front of you, okay? And not in front of your face. So, let's just take this ball. You're gonna be tossing, okay? So face that way, we'll face each other, okay? So now, your job is to toss the ball, okay? Just toss it and then catch it. Okay, freeze, freeze, freeze. Then your elbow. You were like this. See how she caught it like this? This is not a thumbs up. Okay? So you're gonna look for her to toss it like this and catch it with your arm looking pretty much the same way it was before she tossed it. If this happens and the height is good, then you give her a thumbs up. Okay, go for it. Whoa, don't take it personally, it's okay. Good job. Okay, you're holding her accountable. Okay, so now, go ahead and just do this and give your partner a thumbs up if the height is good and they're catching it like this. If they catch it like this, that means their toss was like this and they're hitting the bottom of the ball and they're serving a rainbow over a 15 ball. Got it? Okay, go. So especially the younger ages, I'm spending a lot of time doing just tossing. And a lot of the stuff that we do could be tedious, it could be repetitive, but I explain this all at tryouts. I explained this in the parent meeting at the beginning. I said, you're going to have to work. This is not all fun. But one of the goals that I always have with my teams is whenever we go to a tournament and I ask my team, what's our goal? They always tell me one thing. We're going to be the best serving team in the entire tournament. They say that with confidence. Because if you're the best serving team, fewer balls come back. And it's harder for the other team to get side outs. It's harder for them to run their offense. All right, so now, go ahead and ball the partner and go 10 foot to 10 foot line. So one person on a 10 foot, the other partner is on the other side. All right, so this is the 10 to 10 serving warm-up. You can call it a warm-up, but you can do it at the beginning of practice, or you can do this as an actual drill to teach serving. Okay, so your job, okay, and another thing that I do is when I have them do a drill, I don't tell them all of the instructions and steps all at once. Okay, all I say is like this. This could be the first time that we do this as a team, at the beginning of practice. I just say, serve it over the net, and the partner has to catch it. Spend 5 minutes in a huddle trying to explain the whole drill. I just say one thing to get them going, and then I'll say stuff like, okay, now you get us going, and you do your first step. Okay, ready? All right, remember the toss height? Then you toss height, jump height. Then you toss height, jump height. After a while, I'll say, okay, what's much better? And I might go high five some players. Okay, I feel that it works. Okay, so then they start doing it. Now I'm building culture. I get this question a lot, like the first, couple practices. Maybe you already know each other. Okay, next, do another test. Okay, so this is going to get better. Next, make sure that you're tossing so that if you were to catch the toss, it's out in front of you and not behind, right? Here you go. think I said at the beginning, try to catch it or something like that. But other than that, I haven't told them like where to serve it or anything. Okay, so at the beginning of the season, no matter what you back, you say, I don't care where the ball goes. Okay, just don't hit me, don't hit mine. Okay, got it? Okay, come on to the next tip. Okay, next tip. You got it. So I give these one at a time. And they're going for like a couple minutes on each tip. So now the next tip is, after you hit the ball, you're going to slap your partner in the forehead. Don't actually slap your partner in the forehead, no matter how bad you want to do it. But after you hit the ball's gone, smack right there. Just hold your hand and slap it around the forehead. Got it? You know where the forehead is? It's kind of hard to tell on my head, but it's like right here. Okay, go. Remember I said don't hit these. Really awesome. Katie, okay? Did you see what she did? What did she do after she went like this, and then what did she do? She closed one eye and she's like trying to blind it up. That is Katie. So give one tip at a time, okay? Now, the drill for this is a competition. So then you say, okay, you got to top the serve, your partner has to catch the ball. You do that, it could be 3 times total between the two of you. It could be 5 times. You just decide, okay? So for right now, you just have to catch it, let's just say twice, okay? Between the two of you, and the same person can catch it both times. Then you take 3 steps back. 1, 2, 3. Both of you. Now you're farther apart. Now do it again until you catch 2 balls, and then you keep going. Okay? And get towards you're at the point where normally a triangle would be about 20 foot depth of the net. Then you can bounce once into the net. And then you go all the way to the end line. Okay? And then you can let it bounce, obviously, in the court. And then you can catch it within maybe 1 or 2 steps. If you do that twice, that makes it equal. Got it? Go. And the balls are flying all over the place, okay? I only give 1 tip, and I like to keep my conversations to within 30 seconds, max. Because that's how long a timeout is in club. High school longer, is it a minute here? High school, yeah, it's a minute, right? Club is 30 seconds, so I try to keep it to 30 seconds. I'll say something like, there's too many balls going all over the place. Okay, I just got hit over there, so I don't want that to happen anymore. So make sure you're slapping your partner's forehead really hard with your hand. Got it? So after you hit the ball, whack right there on the forehead and line it up. Okay? Fingers up. Got it? Let's go. Okay, hold ball. Okay, so now, there's a lot of different ways you can teach, like the footwork stuff that happens on serving and other things like that. But this I like because it's player oriented. Okay, they're all going, and they have to serve it straight. And then I explain to them, well, if you can serve it straight, and the coach signals you 1, we'll just turn towards 1, and you can serve it straight to 1 or 5. or whichever way you're going to serve. So I like this format because it teaches them to serve where they want it to go, if that makes sense. Okay, let's do a quick water. All first. Okay, so I never have to get them back from the water break. I never have to remind them. This is just what happens. Any questions? Okay, next. Can I get 3 people with the ball? Let's get it right here. Quickly. And then 3 people with the ball. In the same area over here. Quickly, you're going to move way faster than that. Let's go. Pass right in the middle. Same one there. One person set it up. Quickly, okay? One person waiting off to the right. One person waiting. Okay? So we're just waiting off. Okay, so even when I'm explaining a new drill, I want them to move. I don't put up with slow motion when I'm trying to introduce a drill. In any given practice, I never introduce more than one new drill in a practice, so that all the rest of them, they've done them already. So that it reduces the talking time. Okay? Now, what we're going to do is, you're going to stay on your side of the net. This drill is called 4 corners. Okay? You're going to stay on your side of the net, do not cross the net. Okay? After you toss, you're not tossing the seam. Got it? Not yet. When you toss, you're going to toss it between them. Okay? After you toss, you're going to get in the line over here. Okay? And then these two will pass the ball coming from over there. The middle person becomes the target. The target takes the ball no matter where it goes. It goes in the tossing line. The left person goes to the middle. The waiting person goes to the left. Got it? And we just do one of those and then make the shift. Go. Okay, just one. Like that. Okay? So that is the basic format of the 4 corners drill. Now, this is where I do teach, okay? You know how to call the seams and figure out which is what? What do you do? Yep, just like that, okay? So, you say, I have your deep, and then I got your short, okay? So if the ball gets served right here, who balls it? Perfect, and the ball goes over here. Yeah, and I teach my players to kind of start creeping in if it goes to the seam so that just in case it goes deep, there's a player, or short, there's a player. Okay? All right, now just continue that drill. Go. So the traditional format where I got this drill called 4 corners only had one concept. I wanted there to be 2. And then they have to figure out who gets the ball and have to call the seam. Okay, now I always make sure that I teach my players that they have to throw the ball overhead like this, not underhand. Because I want my passers to always see the arm like this motion. Okay? So we must throw it. Now, this is how I warm it up. Now go to the inline. Tossers are in the inline. Tossers are in the inline. Now you're actually serving. Okay? Try to serve the seam. Do your best. Go.
Sorry.
Hey, target, go with that ball. Target, go with that ball. Make the shift. Again, the target has to get the ball no matter where it goes, even if it's a missed serve. Otherwise, the drill breaks down. Just go. Go, go, go. Go get that ball. You gotta get that ball. Okay, hold up. Hold up. Hold up. If I'm serving from here, I'm serving into the net. Target. No matter where, you have to keep it moving. Got it? Even if it's a missed serve. Just just, I need the drills to just keep moving. Go. Okay, now. I am teaching my players to call the scene. You gotta do it quickly, you gotta do it fast. You can't just go like, no, I need you to make eye contact. I got you, G. Got it? You trust me? Yes. I got you, G. Got it? And these are your other shorts. Yeah, see that? So I teach them to make eye contact and build trust. Like, you trust she's gonna get your short by the way she's gonna look at you. That feels way better than like, right? I got your short. Okay? Now, we do this drill where, so I teach them the 3-point passing scale. So if it's a shank ball, it's a 0. If they pass it straight up somewhere in the back row, it's a 1. If they pass it, the ball is passed goes inside the 10-foot line. 2 tempo again. I teach my teams passing 2 tempo. And you have 2 options to set. It's a 2 pass. If it's dead on perfect and you can run it quick, then it's a 3. Okay? So we go, and this is for you to decide. If it's young age, and you don't want to teach them that rating, you just say, well, the target can catch the ball within 2 steps. That's 1. Okay? And you got it over here, on this side, that's 2. And then another one happens, that's 3. The next one happens over here, that's 4. And they go until the whole team gets 5 of those, whatever criteria you give. Okay, you gotta get 5 2 passes, or it's gotta be at least a 1 pass. As long as it's not a shank ball, you get 5. Then you make a switch. The captain, the players run this drill. Okay, so let's say you got 5 of the things. Now, servers move to the left quickly. Okay? Now you're running the same drill. Now the servers, I want them to learn to serve from different spots along the inline. Okay? Sometimes during the game, I will signal to my player, hey, serving from the right side is not working. They're passing it and they're hitting it. Unfortunately, we just blocked it, but I'll signal to my player to go to the left and now serve from over here. So they got to serve from different areas along the inline, and also give my passers practice receiving the ball now from across. Got it? Go. And then now we're going to get their goal. Okay, now let's say they got 5 of their goal again, whatever it was. Server stay, passers now middle and right. And the big person waiting on the right side. Okay? Now you're serving line from the left side, and now you're giving your players passing practice, having the ball on this right side. Now, this right person here, make sure your left foot's in front of you, your left shoulder's down. No matter what ball he gives you, you have to shovel to the left. Got it? Go. Okay, one of the things that I go for is if someone's walking by my gym, they need to hear and go, oh my God, what is going on here? Okay? So when you serve, I teach my players in practice to yell out, ball. Ball! And serve. Got it? And I still, the ball seems like, I can't even understand what you're saying. Okay? And then serve. Another short. I have your short. Windsor. I have your deep. Nice and loud. Make eye contact. Okay, go. Let's go. I can't hear you. Okay, now, passers, go to the 10-foot line. All the way to the 10-foot line. Okay, now, on the toss, as soon as she tosses the ball, you can start retrieving. And I want you to serve here, got it? Okay, because passing the ball where the serve is behind you is one of the toughest balls in volleyball. So we practice this a lot. Go. Passing short is also tough, so we practice passing short a lot. Okay? So most of the time, my players on my teams are practicing passing where they have to really move instead of just being in one spot. So now you can start creeping forward on the toss, but don't go too far because it's going to be a deep serve. Got it? Go.
Ball.
Whoa. Sometimes they can get, it takes them 15 minutes, sometimes they can get it done in about 10. But I also put a max to my drills. This has to happen 15 minutes max because that's my plan, which is not this. But my practice plans are typed up by time. So they only have 15 minutes to get this done. And if they don't get it, no, I get a question like, do you make them run and stuff? No, because that delays the practice even more. No, they're running, aren't you moving around a lot? Yeah, okay. So I don't do a lot of running drills. I don't do like a lot of extra stuff. And they just know, 15 minutes, we got to get it done. It puts some urgency into it. If they don't get it done, like let's say you spent 15 minutes and you didn't get all your stuff, okay? And let's say we got like almost there, like 95%, all right? That's good, right? Because last time we only did like halfway. So today we got 3/4 done. Great job. Next time, let's get the whole thing done, right? Yeah? Okay, can we do it next time? Yeah. They always say, yeah. Okay, so now that's just speaking your cycle. Okay? Normally I'm not saying this to players. This is kind of how I think. Okay, any questions?
How long does it take you to establish your practice?
First practice.
They they're pretty on it after the day.
They better be. They have to. Because by the second practice, if they're still slow and stuff, and we only have 8 practices before our first tournament, yeah. So there's no, how long do I give them? No. Have to get it done. I tell them that at the beginning of the meeting. When I say this is what we do, you've got to get it done. If you don't get it done, we're not going to be going well at the tournament. So that's
Not to say that, you know,
exhausted. I am brain dead. Because this is how fast I move, and I go, and I go, and I go, and I go, and then I crash. So if you want your team to be awesome, you're going to have to work. It is not easy. Like Monica and I, after practice, we're like, oh my God, how are you doing? I can't think right now. And then we just go home. It's like, it's exhausting. But we do it at the very beginning for us in like high gear, because then gradually we can taper what we're doing, and then they're doing it. Now they're the only ones that are like exhausted every practice. But that's okay because you're the players and you're way younger than us. So that's how we roll. We like pour it on like 5,000% at the beginning. And then we can taper. By mid-season, we're like just kind of walking around. It's awesome. They're like moving, nobody's walking.
It's like we don't even have to be there.
We joke, like, okay, we're going to Starbucks, we'll be back in 10 or whatever. And we're winning most of our games, and we're in championships. It's just like, that's how it works. Okay, hitting. Who wants to hit? Okay, everybody wants to hit.
Jeff,
Do I modify when I have inexperienced teams? Yes. So, kind of talking about. Oh, there's a ball right here. That is not okay. The water break should not have happened. There's a ball right there. The ball right there. Let's go. Nice job. Okay, we talked a lot about beginning of the season. Like at the beginning of the season, it's not the most skilled players that get the starting 6 spots. It's you because you didn't have the ball. So like, oh, that's worth a ton of clean points right there. Nice job. And then everybody else is like, what? I just got clean points. She just got clean points. I'm gonna do that next time. And then pretty soon I get like 3, 4, 5, 6 people like sprinting to create one ball. That's how my practice. Okay, do I modify stuff? Can I get the corner up on this side? Okay, the question was, can you modify drills and stuff for different skill levels? Is that the question?
yeah, just like your expectations. It's like some of the stuff really works because the drills are really good. But some of these drills are going really bad.
Okay, do I lower my expectations? No. I have them sky high. How old or how young? I don't care. 4th grade, 5th grade, I'm running it this way. And I expect them to run this fast. Okay, like, this is great. This is a great group, but if this were a whole group of like 4th and 6th graders, I'd be running it the exact same way. And if there's one more there, then I'll get one right. So, the expectation level is up because when I coach the younger ages, the coaches that are hoping to get them later, I want them to have trained on me. And they can't be the ones having to teach them stuff. So, expectation levels are the same, but the drill at the beginner level is uglier. And sometimes it looks like a disaster. And I just have to be okay with it. So I might just say, hey, if we get one ball caught in 4 corners, you know, okay, we're going to go to the next ball. Or if it's really bad or crappy, I'm like, if someone touches the ball, okay, great job, you got 1 touch, okay, next one. So it is a goal, and they have to go. Beginning, balls are going to be flying all over the place, but that's all I want. Okay, next. Can I get Monica, can you set them up for the top scene at the beginning? I'm going to put it over here so you can kind of see what they're doing. Okay, so who does a 3-step approach? Who does a 4-step? 5, 2, 7, 8. There's so many different approaches. Because if you're an outside hitter and you're back here, you're back to pass, and you pass the ball. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I just did an 8-step approach. So I don't really care what approach you use, but to me, the only thing that matters, the most important part is the very end. Okay? I don't care how you got here, but you just finished all your steps and you got here. I don't care how you got here. Probably not by Uber. That was a dumb joke. If you laugh, you get clean ones. Dang, she's still not laughing. See, if you're on the tournament, you'll be playing again. Alright, anyways, we're going to do a drill where we're just going to toss. It's going to be a toss set. You cannot take any more steps because you've taken all the steps under your toes already. You just get to jump up and catch the ball. And you go away with that. Okay, right? And then go back, put the ball on the floor. Okay, now, if this were a younger age, timing would be way off. This one, timing for these are pretty good. Okay, hold on. But at the younger age, it's like the same drill. Same thing, and they'll like jump up and then the ball will be down here, or they'll jump too early and the ball is, you know, still up in the air. So this is a drill to figure out when to jump, because you can do all the steps that you want. The most important thing is to figure out when to do the jump and reach up, okay? Let's keep going. Okay, one of the things, well, if you're right-handed, one of the things that keywords I give my hitters is when you are coming in as a right-handed hitter to hit, especially the middle, make sure you say, hey, read my shirt. Did she read your shirt? Yeah, because I see too many middles come in like this. Can she read my shirt? No. Also, I'm probably going to get blocked, okay, because I'm hitting right. So make sure you turn. So this is the first progression for working on hitting. And these could be totally more advanced players. They still do this. Because unless they can tell me that they're the most amazing, perfect hitters in the entire world, they still need to practice. So this one, you can have a coach here, you can have a coach here, and just practice because they're not getting. So you can have 2 lines running. Yeah, no steps. No steps. No steps. Hold up. Yeah, we're starting to see a little bit of this, like before you cut it all, okay? And then people wonder, okay, what if it falls over there? I don't care. Just do your best. No steps, okay? Even if you told me with the ball, even if, I don't care where, if I told you where to hit it, did I say you can go over the net and the corner? No, I just said hit it. So, especially the younger ages, beginning of the season, I keep talking, I don't care where the ball goes, just don't hit me. Got it? Just do your best, but don't hit my hit me. Okay, no steps, no. No steps. No steps. No steps. No steps. No steps. Hold up. I need more focus because some of you are kind of going like this. No more steps. Got it? Okay, now. Okay, good. Okay, now the next progression, so I work backwards. I prioritize the end of the hitting part because that's the most important timing. Okay, now we're going to back up. Okay, so go back closer to the 10-foot line. Okay, now you're all right-handed. Okay, and you got 2 steps left. Okay, you know what a flamingo is? Yes, we're going to do flamingo. Okay, so it's like, let's say you're doing a 3-step approach, you've done your left, and then you're going to stride ready to go and make your right left. Okay, if you're doing a 4-step, then you've done your right, your left, and then you're about to go to your right left. You're only doing the last 2 steps. So your left step is down, all your weight is on there, and you're about to go into your right left. Okay, she's going to toss. You only get 2 steps. Get this. Only 2 steps. Go. Only 2 steps. Only 2 steps. Steps. Okay, hold up. Okay, so now, two balls are going out. Okay, because they're going too far. You're going past the ball. So now you're going to do what we call a lefty tip. You're right-handed players, but you're going to do a tip with your left hand. So you've got your flamingo. You're going to go right-left, go up, and then tip the ball over with your left hand. Got it? There we go. Your left hand, lefty tip. Lefty tip. Okay, hold up. Okay, so this is the exercise I do with a lot of players on my team are overrunning the ball and they're hitting the bottom of the ball and they're sailing it out or they're hitting it out past the end line or hitting it out there. So this is a guy who's like to kick it out front. Go up just a couple times. Okay, hold up. Okay, so now, if you're moving up, you're kind of hitting the bottom of the ball, now we're tilting it like this, inside of it. Got it? Okay, so I do that if you have a problem with overrunning the ball, which is the most common problem I find is my hitters overrun the ball. Can't put it down. All right, next, we're going to do the flamingo, except now we're going to transition to a drill that I call the crappy set drill. Okay? Most of the time when we practice hitting, and my team's in practice, we're giving you the crappiest set of your fingers. Okay? Because the perfect sets So the step is like right when the setter sets. Set, and you take a step to the zone, okay? So if it's 2, I'm in the 2 zone, okay? And if I'm an outside hitter, on the set, I'm gonna take a step to my zone right here, where I think the ball's going to set, but then the ball's actually set out there, I'm gonna have to in stride to the right out here. So you're not trying to crush it, but everything inside the spin, so you can do everything you want. Go. Only 2. Something with the ball. Here. Okay, so usually for the outside, I can toss from here. And for the outside, it's going to be in the 3 zone. It's going to be. You see how hard it is? Can you get here in 2 steps? Go. Yeah. Do something with it. Tip it, whatever. Okay? Here, usually what happens is the toss it, it's going to get away. It's going to be playing. Got it? Really? Yes, 2 steps. Take 2 steps. Okay, awesome. Okay, sorry, guys, we're talking, then you explain stuff. So the younger ages, when they get an off that set, like when I coach in 12s, the defense kind of relaxes because they think I'm just going to do this instead of free ball. I teach my little ones, they're like, here we go. I say, make a face. I miss, and look mean. Because then they're like, oh my God, it's not going to be free ball. And it's like, they're going to hit it. And we don't hit it hard, but it kind of gives it a little bit of a buzz. Okay, now the next one, the progression to wrap this all up, is it can go anywhere. You can be tight, outside the pin, inside, off the net. Just do something with it, but the ball better go over the net. Go. Hitters will just go in. And then my hitters are really good at adjusting mid-stride and taking those last 2 steps no matter where the ball is. And now, we don't get hitters going, man, can you set it better? It's like, they can just, everything's normal. Because we practice all the crappy stuff 90% of the time. And then occasionally we might toss like a perfect set and go, hey, what can you do that? Okay, ball's in the water. Okay, did you see what they just did? They came into the huddle and they were all looking back and forth. So, this is only the first time I'm working with them. They're already managing and making sure there's no balls out before they get water. So to answer your question, yeah, first practice, you gotta do this.
Any variation for the elbow hit? Any variation for the elbow hit? Any modifications for hitting on the elbow side?
We usually leave that for lefties.
Okay.
But that's kind of like later, especially with the younger kids. You're not really hitting as much on that right side. But we will do it where we'll practice, because on that right side when you're righty, you have to track the ball around or past your shoulder. And so we do practice that. But not till later. That's kind of like.
Okay, can I get 6 on this work?
Oh, are you guys okay if we go over?
Are you okay if we go over? Okay. A little bit. There's a couple more things I want to show you. Okay, 6 on this work. Okay, the rest of you are off. Over here. Okay, can you get a base position? Okay, awesome. All right, now I understand that every coach or every team, they might have like slightly different base positions, but this is the this is the drill for working on positioning for defense and practicing the transition depending on where the offense is coming from or what kind of ball is coming to them. So for the first one, okay, the coach just comes over, you're just holding the ball, and I walk over to this left front area, and you have to yell left. So you go left, and transition to double walking. Okay, you have to off blocker, so like this stuff in the floor, I just teach you, I get that right foot on 10-foot line. Okay, and then I'm going to throw the ball. Okay, just play it out. Hit it over. You can block it. You want to block it. So let's get 6 on this side. Okay, so I walk over here and you yell what? And then transition, I'm going to throw the ball over, you're going to play, it's going to come over, whatever ball they hit over here, they hit once, and then catch the ball and stop. Okay? Alright. Ready? Go. the base, okay? The second ball is right here, so when you yell. Middle, very good, go. Middle. Okay, don't block me. You're the off blocker, right? That tips right there. Okay, so then, yep, when you yell, base, then go to base. Now when you yell, right, don't block me. That we rep over and over. Okay? Next. This is a down ball. So what do you do when you got a background down ball? How many blockers up? One, middle. What do you do? Peel off. Okay, there should be a straight fire line in the back. So now you yell down. Now you knew all that stuff that I just asked you younger ages by just teaching all this stuff, okay? Just put the middle blocker up, the left and the right front peel back, go to the try line. So those are 4 options, okay? Now at the very beginning, I start with serve receive. So can you go, let's just say you're a center, okay? You're the center, you're in the right front. Can you just go to like a serve receive pattern? I don't care what it is. Okay, let's go to serve receive. So whatever your serve receive pattern is that you're trying to practice for this one, so if this is row 1 or rotation 1, this should be the rotation 1 serve receive pattern, okay? If you're working with your starting 6. And then the coach just comes over here and I'm going to throw the ball, serve receive, play it out. Got it? So now, those are the 5 balls. We call this 5 balls. So let's actually just swap sides. So you can do this a couple different ways. You can mix it all up. There's no starting 6 or whatever. Just say, hey, let's put 6 over here. Okay? And then we go through the 5 series. We go serve, left, middle, right, down. 5 balls. Okay? And then we just rotate 6 times, and then we just switch. So we just switch. Okay? So on this one, the first one is serve. So go to a serve C pattern, stack left or right, right. You want to set? Sure. Oh, back row center. Okay, push up. Yep, push her up, and here we go. Rotate over. Okay, go seriously. Who's going to set? You sooner you back to the center? You want to push her up and just come out? Good. I don't care what it is. Here we go. Okay? Here you go. Right away. This has to happen right away. They give you the ball, you play the ball, yell base, and then Okay, here we go. Again, left and middle. Until they get it faster and faster and faster and faster. So sometimes at the beginning, we have to say this a lot, like no base, hit spot. So if they do the left, right, and they get the base fast, then we'll go to the middle, then we'll go to the right. Okay, so you can kind of gauge where they're going to be and just kind of determine whether they get to rotate or not. Okay, and I'm very picky, so if it's not done right, they don't get to rotate. They're in it, you got to get it right. Okay? So this could be whatever defense you're running, okay? But I figure if you can practice service eve, a left side hitter, a middle hitter, a right hitter, and an out ball, like over and over and over, and they're moving quickly and getting the base, I mean, there's no stopping. You're like moving the whole time. And the other thing that I sometimes do is, you know, on your phone, you have that audio recording app.
Voice memo.
Voice memo, yeah, I set it to record. And then I take a time out and I go, hey, listen to this. And they listen to it. Does this sound like an amazing match going on? No. And then we do it again and they record it again. And when you listen to it, you can tell it's loud. You can just, there's no video, but when you listen to it, you can tell it's an amazing match. Okay, so for the last part, I'm going to run some stuff that we do. A lot of coaches talking about, oh, we're out of system. I don't believe in being out of system. We practice every possible crazy stuff that we can do in practice, and then when it comes to game time, nothing phases us, okay? So on this side, everybody at the net. All the way up. Right. Face that way. Okay, you're in base. And you come base. Okay, I'm going to chuck the ball into the floor. It's going to bounce up over there. It's going to go that way. You got to play it off of one bounce, got it? And then get into continue the bounce. Ready? Go. Out of system drill. So they go on the sidelines, on the end line, or the net, and I play games first to 5. And I just alternate, give them some crazy ball bouncing, alternating sides, and they have to play till one side gets 5 points. This is another crazy, like getting everything normal when it should be out of system. So you're in base over here. I'm going to chuck a ball into the floor. You only have 2 touches left to get the ball over. Got it? Then it goes to regular volleyball. Okay, here we go. One touch off by bounce, and you can go to the regular 3 touches each time. Okay, ready? Ready? So it's not like, hey, move, you gotta move your feet, you gotta go. Because if you don't move, okay, so that's the other one. And we can do 3 levels. Now the younger ages, I will start it off with maybe 3 touches off my crazy ball. They need them all. And then you kind of see how well they do, and it's still like pretty crazy, but then at some point you realize, oh, they can handle 3. And you go, hey, nice job, you guys did level 1. Ready for level 2? And they always say, yeah. Okay, and then level 2, you ready? Okay, it's 2 touches. And then it's 1 touch. And it goes pretty fast, I just get it. But you have to give them just any kind of crazy. So this is just 2 examples, but I try to think of as many crazy things as possible. So by the time we get to the tournament, the balls in the game are way slower, and we're like, we got this. And then we play first to 5. So we make this competitive. Make sense? Okay, you want to play a game? Yeah. Okay, it's first to 1. Got it? Okay, so you get 1 touch off this ball. Third set already, you only get 1. If you get 2 off, we'll just switch. Okay, this is the last one. You get 1 touch, ready? let's go. My main thing, you may not get every serve, you may not get every dig, but just go. That's the only way. You just go for it, and then there's another ball, and just go for that. Makes sense? So that's how I try to run my practices, is just get that into their heads. Just go. And then especially at the beginning of the season, it's like, I don't care where the ball goes. You just go, and then you gotta design the drill so they have to go. So let's say, just go on, who's gonna go?